It is very, very, very easy to prune out the wrong thing. So, well, as you can see, I'm out in the blackberries, and now these are blackberries in containers, not just in the ground like most people plant, like I used to plant. Don't anymore. But we're out here pruning these berries. Now, I got to tell you, I'm a little confession. I should have done this last summer. Real busy. If you know my channel very much, you know I had a tornado last summer, about just right before what should have been pruning time on these berries, and it just consumed my time, and I just did not get to these. And if you hadn't pruned yours, this is a great time for you to look at this and to prune yours. There's some things you need to know, some things you need to watch for, and you just got to be careful about your pruning, because you can make mistakes. So let me show you what I'm doing, and bring you in and tell you why. Bring you in close, tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing. And you know, again, shouldn't be done this time of year necessarily. Should be done when the canes die in the summer. But this is a great time to do it anyway. Would not hurt to have some type of eye protection. You're going to be pulling on canes that have, you know, they're all wiggly and all, just going all which ways, and you can definitely get in your eyeballs. So I would be careful about that. I'll show you the pruners I use, and you know, I'm using some gloves too. But let's get it done. These are Prime Arc Freedom blackberries. So I'm using two different kinds of pruners. Both of them are Fiskars. I'm using a third pruner that's a big lopper, and it's also a Fiskar. I really like their products. I'll put a link to these two if I can find this one, if they still make this one, but this one's good too, either one. But let me show you, let me bring you in close and show you what I'm doing. I've already started some over here, but we'll look at the rest of them. So I'm really kind of ashamed to bring you in too close, because I let grass get up in here, and you know, not only did I let the canes keep growing, but I let some of this grass that looks like Bermuda, which is, you know, it's not going to be easy to get rid of, and but we're gonna pull it out for now, and then we'll see what happens later. Some of these canes, because it's winter, because it's this time of year, some of these canes will pull right out of here. You can kind of give it a little bit of tug on it, and some of them, the roots are so have rotted so much that they'll come right straight out. You're looking for like that one did. You're looking for a cane that is completely dry, dead, doesn't have any color to it. Now, the further up north you go, the more likely you're going to have less evidence of life. The more likely you're going to have of a more dormant plant. These are down here. They never go terribly, I mean, completely dormant. But you can just tell if they've got any color. Some of these are purplish. Some of them have leaves on them. Obviously, those are alive. But some of them don't have any leaves on it, but they'll have a little purple color. Usually they're going to have some kind of leaf somewhere up and down the stalk. But pick your stalk that you think is dead and look all the way up. Make sure there's no leaves all the way up before you cut it. Try to get it as low down to the ground as you can. You want to prune pretty close to the ground if you can. Now, what I'm telling you, I should have said this in the beginning. What I'm saying is not just for container blackberries. This is any blackberry. In the ground, containers, whether it be this kind of container or something else, any kind of blackberry, you need to prune accordingly like this. But you also need to be, careful about what you prune out. It is very, very, very easy to prune out the wrong thing. So, watch what I'm doing. Listen. Again, look at the bottom of it. You think it's dead, follow it all the way up. And if you don't see any leaves or anything on it, get it down as low as you can. And then pull it out of there. This is where those glasses come in handy, because like I say, there's lots of little, these little limbs go all which ways. That one is dead. These limbs go all which ways. I don't know whether y'all say that up north or not, but we do. And that's a good example of a dead cane. It's just, you know, all the limbs, the little laterals on it are dead. And that's what you're looking for. Pull out any grass that you want to pull out. Some of these, like that one just pulled out, because it's winter, the roots are just rotted out, and some of them will absolutely pull out just without any pruning on them, and just get. And I just made a mistake. Since this had a Y in it right here, and I saw that, all I looked for was that right there. And it looks dead because it is dead. And what I should have done, I am pruning out a good viable cane. See the leaves on it? See, I made a mistake because it was this side, this lateral was dead. I should have looked all the way up for the leaves and for the green, for purple, and I didn't do it. So that's what I'm saying when I say it's easy to do, and there's just not much hope for that one right there because I done cut it off. And I shouldn't have. TP2 makes mistakes too. All right, so let's do another one. This time we're gonna look all the way up it. And again, sometimes those things will take a fork. You know, we'll go one way and another way. Look up it and see if you see a fork like I didn't just do. And then, and prune accordingly. If it doesn't have a fork on it, go straight up, then, and it's dead, prune it out. But there's a bunch of them here you can see that are dead, and I'm just gonna have to get in there, probably get in between me and you and the camera. And take that out. That one's got a fork way down at the bottom, but it's holding it. It's kind of trapping it in there, won't let it out. Just dead, very, very dead canes. That's what you're looking for. That is from, that cane is coming from next door, the neighbor, and we'll get to him in a minute. Right now we're on this particular pot. We're gonna go down all the way to the ground, all the way to the top. I don't see any forks in it, so that is just a straight cane, and it needs to come out because it's dead. This one here, that is a, see that's this one here, laterals. It doesn't do much. It comes up here in laterals. Got one little old leaf on it. I'm gonna cut it off right above that leaf because it does have a little piece of green, and I'm gonna cut off where it forks out because this side of it is dead. All right, next one. You'll have to move some of your stuff out of the way, some of the good stuff out of the way to get to the bad stuff. Some of it will come out by just giving a gentle tug on it. You'll know if it's going to come out or not, because some of it's just loose. Now, if you're pruning if you're watching this, or if you're pruning in the summertime when you should be pruning, those roots are going to be dug in. You're not going to have any that just, very seldom, they just pull out. That means it was dead. It came up and died pretty quick, and then the roots have had time to rot. There's a good one. There's one. Just broke off. Another one broke off. Now that one, that's a big one. It just absolutely broke off. Didn't have to cut it at all. It's got a little fork on it. And most of these canes come up, and some of them they'll come straight up, and then when you start pruning them, they'll start lateraling high. Some of them will start lateraling, meaning making branches, little branches. Some of them will do that real low, and it's just, you know, sometimes it's hard to see when you're out here doing, and you make mistakes like I just did. All right, this one, that's gonna come straight up out of there. Didn't even prune it, just pulls right up. Again, these are from the neighbor. I'm gonna cut off the neighbor over here. And this is my trellis. If y'all don't have a trellis, you need to watch my trellis video. I'll link to it at the end of this because it is so easy, cheap to make. I'm gonna cut that little limb off, and then I'm gonna look, because that one had a lateral. That was a lateral on a branch that, oh, it's all dead. Okay, I'll get it all. Now again, I'm trying to go low, trying to get down, not necessarily in the dirt, but it wouldn't hurt to get real close to the dirt. And then I'll probably go around on the other side. That one's coming from a neighbor. I'll cut him off while I'm on this side. Now let me go around to the other side and get the few that are over there. And because I'm not sure they even make that other pruner, I'll use this pruner. I know they still make this design, and do a couple of these. Now this one is green at the bottom, but when it gets up here, it's dead. So I'm gonna take off that little dead top. Got another little dead top here. That is green, and not only is it green, it's putting out a few little green leaves. Don't really want to wait till they put out green leaves, but this one isn't very involved in green production yet, so it's still a good time. That one low. This one, it's got a fork on it. Checking out the fork. Nothing there, so it comes out. That is a, well, see, I almost took that one out. And it goes down, it comes out wise, and then goes straight up. The straight up part is dead. I'm gonna take it off. But the other two parts is this, which has leaves on it, and this over here that has leaves on it. So that's what I'm saying. Be very, very careful what you prune out so you don't lose production in a few months. Because whatever you prune out, whatever you cut off, ain't gonna make no berries. So you gotta be careful with it. Live. That one is deader than a hammer all the way. And it forks real low, but this fork is dead, that fork is dead, so the whole thing is dead. Pull that out. I'm glad I got to show you me making a mistake, to show you how easy it is to do that. I missed a couple on this one over here. But that, as far as I can tell, I don't see any more on that one that looks bad. All of it's out. Again, take the time to pull out any, if you got any little pieces, take those out. Grass is a good time to take grass out of it if you have grass in them. And I allowed way too much grass to get in these. And sometimes you might want to, just so you don't risk getting poked in the eye, and just because you don't risk tearing something else up. You know, as you pull these out, it pulls on the other vines. This is a good time of year to do it. You're not going to be pulling off any blooms, blossoms, whatever. But you know, you may want to take it, cut it off, and cut it into two or three pieces to get it out, so you don't tear something up getting it out. All right, that is coming from the neighbor. I'm gonna cut him off over there, just so I can give me a little bit better sight of what I'm doing over here. That is dead all the way up. It's got a little fork on it. I don't see any leaves on it. In fact, well, but it forks real low to the ground. I mean, at the ground level it forks. And this one here, it's got a lot of leaves on it. So I'm gonna get it low, but not all the way down, because then I would have taken off this one right here. And you don't want to do that. I almost did it again. That one, root just pulled out on that one. Grass in it. Deader than a hammer, pulled right out. Sometimes it's best to go up and out. Sometimes nothing works real well, because they just get mighty tangled. That root just pulled right out. And this one, the top of it's dead, but this little part right here is good and alive, and I'm gonna put it up there by the trellis, and we'll keep it going. I'm gonna come around on that side and finish this one up, and then I'll show you my big problem that I'm gonna have to use the big loppers on. So that's a big cane there, nice. What was a nice healthy cane last year. Take it out. That was a a nice one, but I've got a live one right close to it. So when you reach in there, watch where the tips of these are. Watch where every part of this is inside that job, because first of all, you can take off the wrong cane, as I've showed you. Second of all, you can take off the wrong finger, so you don't want to do that either. These things will take off a finger, so don't get down there reaching through there and then just snap it and not know where your finger is either. That's just another part of safety on this. It's like grapevines. Grapevines, you start yanking on a grapevine when you're pruning grapevines out, and you start yanking on a grapevine, I'll tell you what, they'll poke you in the eyeball. This is just about, yeah, I got a lot to do on this one. All right, that one's dead all the way up. The fork's here. Check it for leaves all the way up, nothing. So it gets cut down to the ground and pulled out. This one pulled right out from the roots. That one, I thought would, but it's pretty dead. Watch your fingers, please. I don't want anybody to tell me, well, I watched your video and then I went to the emergency room. Don't do that. That's not what I want to hear. I do want to hear from you. I do want to hear your comments, but I don't want to hear that I sent you to the emergency room. So be careful. See, this one's green. Boy, it's a great example. Whether you can see that or not. Cane's coming up here, and then it Y's right there. It splits, forks out. That one goes that way, and it's just as green as it can be. This one comes up, and it's just as dead as it can be. So I'll take that one off, and I'll get some berries off that other side this year. There's another. That pulled right up from the root. It's already kind of hanging and dangling. There's another one just pulled right straight up. So these, because it's winter, these are ready to go. These are ready to get out of there. These coming from the neighbor. I'll cut them off. I can see a little better. This one has got three forks on it. This one is live. This one is live. That one is dead. So I'm gonna take it off right above where it's, right below where it died. And this one, same way. It's deader than a hammer. And it gets, oh, it's pulled up. It pulls straight up from roots. I didn't have to cut it, but I will to get it out of there. Cut it a couple of pieces to get it out, because it's big and troublesome to get out of there. If I did this in the summertime, all these that you're looking at now would be brand new canes, priming canes coming up, going to bloom, but all the old canes would be beginning to die. I don't recommend anybody prunes unless you know for a fact. You can see the dead fruit cluster on it. You know for a fact that it is dying. It's an old cane. It has put out its fruit. It's spent. Then I wouldn't prune it out until it absolutely dies. That's my recommendation for everybody that writes comments. I'd say make sure it is dead before you prune it out of there. And that's still my recommendation. But I'm gonna come over here and take out my little problem child with the big loppers. You'll see what I'm talking about there. Now, because I didn't take as good a care of these as I should have, I allowed what I think might be a willow or an elm or something. This thing right here, it's about 8 feet tall. I allowed it to not just come up in this thing, but to flourish in this thing. Not what I wanted it to do. So this little Fisker's not going to do it. That's when you go to the big guns, something with a little squeeze on them. And I'm going to go down as far as I can go. I will get subsoil on that one and hope it doesn't come up this spring. If it does, then I'll just have to deal with it. Every time something comes up, I just need to pull it. After a while, it'd get the idea, I think. So this right here's got to go. Let me get the big gun. These are my big one. These are 30-inch handles probably, and you can really get some leverage on these. And it's got a bigger jaw on it, so I can go much deeper. I don't see anything close to it that I might be inadvertently cutting. So take that out, probably nip it off here. I mean, I should have never let that happen, but I did. My only excuse is the tornado. And I'm blaming that for all my lackadaisicalness. Good way to put it. But I'll prune this out just like I did the other ones, and show you after, and just give you a little afterthought of what to look for and how it's supposed to look when you're done. So this is what it looked like before. Just a lot of trash, a lot of you know, dead limbs. You can see the dead limbs, and not anymore. So here's what they look like now. You can see all the prunings on the ground. Maybe you can't see them real well, but there's plenty of them. What does this, well, first of all, let me say what this does for the plant, and then let me tell you how to follow up. And I just noticed I left a few. I left 2 or 3 of them on that little plant right there. I'll come back and get those. And you're gonna leave a few. Some of them are hard to see. That one's not hard to see, but I left it. Okay. They'll get got. But what does this do? Well, it opens up the airflow for the remaining plants, the floor canes from last year, that are going to make your spring crop. Why is that important? Well, in the springtime, typically, now it depends on where you live, but in the springtime we get a lot of rain and a lot of humidity. Comes along with that rain. And with humidity and rain comes fungus. So if you can open these up to where the wind howls through them a little bit better, and gives you a better opportunity later on in the spring to spray them, which they need to be done, then you can, maybe not alleviate fungus, but you can sure give it, give yourself a better chance to not have as much fungus. But I would spray your, and I'll show you that when it comes time. But right before they start to bloom, it's called bloom swell. And you can do it before that, anytime really from now on. In fact, it wouldn't hurt to do it right now. But when the bloom, is you start to see a bud, and it right before it breaks, and you see the white blooms or pink blooms, whatever they make. Then that's you need to do that before they bloom, because when they bloom, then the bees are on them, and you don't need to spray copper or fungicide when the bees are going to be on them. But so right now would be a good time, and I need to go ahead and do that. Come in here, they're just easy to manage now. They're easy to spray. I'm not having to look around and get in between all the dead stuff and whatever. It's a whole lot easier, and it's what I'm trying to say. And they will get a better dose of the spray and probably have a better chance of not developing a fungus. Now, also, the plants that are going to start in the next probably month, it depends on our weather, month or two, they're going to start, these plants, these live canes, these floor canes from last year, are going to start really putting out some leaves. Before they put out berries or blooms and berries, they'll put out leaves. And this opens it up, even though what we cut out was dead, lots of it, it's still going to open it up to light coming in and penetrating. The angle of your sun in the wintertime is low, so this helps the light get in there. In summertime, obviously the sun's nearly overhead. Something that I kind of enjoyed was the fact that I didn't have to deal with the summer heat, because that is tough down here in Texas. And I didn't have to deal with the occasional wasp nest I find in these. Fire ants, wasp nest, and this time of year, they're just, you're not going to find them. So it was kind of a happy place that I didn't have to deal. I did see a wasp nest, and I threw it away. But I didn't have to deal with any wasps. Sometimes they'll build, I didn't get that grass out there, but sometimes they'll build a nest right up under the lip of that tub. It'll be a little small nest, yellow jackets or wasps. So be careful if you go to prune in the summertime, even if you're picking in the summertime. because for some reason wasps love, there's one I didn't get, that got it. I gotta come back after I'm done with you. I gotta come back. But for some reason, wasps will they like blackberries. When I had them in the ground, it's not just tubs. When I had them in the ground, I had 1/4 acre of blackberries, 700 feet of blackberries, and every year I had a nest or two of big nests, usually of wasps. So, and that's when I had a U-pick operation. I was scared somebody was going to get stung that didn't need to get stung. I had a problem, you know, I had an allergy. But now that it's done, this is a good time to walk through, first of all, and see that you got everything. Here's one that the bottom of it's live, top of it's not, so I should have pruned it right there. I'll come back and get that. But this is a great time to come in here and tie your canes. I'll let these get too long. I'm not gonna give my excuse anymore with the tornado, but I let these grow too long. And it's just a good time to come in here and first of all, if you don't have a trellis, you should. But it's a good time to come in here and tie your canes to the trellis. Whether you're pruning them now or whether you pruned them last summer, this is a good time to walk back through, make sure everything's tied, because they're fixing to get loaded down with leaves and fruit, and they're going to get heavy and they're going to start drooping, and they need a place to go. If you don't have a trellis, make a trellis. Again, I'll put one at the very end of this video, and I'll try to link to it underneath if I can remember to. But a trellis is absolutely essential if you're going to raise blackberries. If you have one plant, you can just build a little cage around it, something like that. But if you got, you know, a row of them, containers or ground, doesn't matter. This is a great trellis. It's just made with T-posts, just very few T-posts. This 50-foot row here's got, or about a 50-foot row, has got 6 T-posts. It should have 10. I should have put some in the middle. You got T-posts here and T-posts there, and I should have put one here because it can sag a little bit, but they've been here for 3 or 4 years and they haven't sagged. You know, the trellis is doing just fine. T-posts with some electric wire, electric fence wire, and that's all you need. It's so simple. And then I like the little tying tool, tape tying tool, that to tie all these up and shoot. Once you do that, they are in excellent shape. If you didn't prune in the summer, and you probably did, but go back through now, look for any dead canes. Be careful what you prune out, and don't prune your finger. Be careful about pruning your finger also. Don't want you to go to the hospital on my account. But that's the way they're supposed to look. I'll go back and just get the few that I left, and then probably tomorrow, next day, we've got some pretty days ahead of us this week. I'll come out here and I'll start tying them up. Probably bring you out here and do that for you, show you. And because I do like to brag on my little tape tying machine. I love that little thing. And you need one if you don't have one. So just kind of wait on that video and see what's happening. All right, if you need a trellis, if you don't have a trellis, you need a trellis, look up there right about now, and because that is the best, little old cheapest, strongest trellis you're ever going to buy or build, and get her done. All right, we're gone.